Now it's time for the favorite 11. 11 questions, cricket and non-cricket. Sindhu, you ready to rock and roll?
Yes, for sure. And you're going to put me into a lot of trouble here. I already know that, but yes, let's go for it.
I'm not trying to lay a trap here, Sindhu. Come on. Going back to the first times I did this, Eric Renner was one of my earliest guests. The question that I started with was, which roommate did you least like on tour, or which roommate snored the most on tour? And nobody was willing to say. It was always,
Oh,
oh, it's me. I'm the worst roommate, and I couldn't get any genuine answers. So I had to ditch that question. And so we'll start off with your favorite roommate on any cricket tour.
that is going to get me into trouble because I've had a few roommates growing up and also now. And I think I've had kind of a bonding with each of these roommates. Akshata Rao is one, and Uzma of late has been one as well that I've built a lot of bonding after being roommates. And Kitika Korali is another one. I think of all the people that I would definitely pick Geets because I think it was her first tournament in 2019 when she made the debut, and she was my roommate then. And having to be a roommate of the captain then, and I'm sure it was very daunting for her. And she was very good, and she just was on her she would go to bed very early and didn't make any noise when it was required. I think she just gave me the space as well as needed because, like I said, I could get a little more intense on off the field as well. So she just gave me the space, and I would pick Keats.
She also didn't make the mistake of shaking you awake in the middle of the night to try and get you to watch six sixes. So I think that would go in her favor too.
No, Ved. I've known Veda Krishnamurthy since she was 10, 11 years old. So Veda is another one. I could definitely say that we've had many hotel rooms together with. Yeah.
Your favorite way to spend a 14-hour flight, whether it's from San Francisco to India, San Francisco to Australia, San Francisco to Dubai. How do you pass the time on a lengthy cross oceanic flight?
Definitely catching up on some movies on flight, any movies that's available on the flight. And I do a lot of sleeping as well on flight. So I love my space, and I actually look forward to this long flights because I have no access to my mobile phone. So I know I don't have to worry about, and I can't be reached, and I have nothing to that I can control what's happening at home. So I think I just look forward to that break from the entire the outside world. So I definitely look forward to it. Sleep and watch movies.
What is your favorite part of the San Francisco Bay Area?
That's actually a good question. I think the favorite part would be the weather throughout the year. And also, this is my maybe the first country that I'm in USA, the first city that I've moved here after getting married, starting my new life. And so this is what I call home now. So definitely everything in San Francisco is very dear to me, and definitely the weather is the best.
Your favorite cricket ground experience that you've had as a player?
It would be Gaddafi Stadium in Lahore because that was our first introduction to as a full-fledged stadium, and the food that was provided to us was outstanding. I actually came back from Pakistan like 2 kgs more than what I was when I came back home. Yes, I think definitely Gaddafi Stadium, and the pitch out there, the field that, oh my God, I can still visualize the whole field, and it was a batting wicket. I could sleep on it and still be able to get runs. So Gaddafi Stadium, Lahore.
Your favorite cricketer of all time?
Rahul Dravid. And I've been a firm, like I've followed him throughout my growing days and also now sometimes, and it keeps changing, but definitely Rahul Dravid. And off late, I've been following Beth Mooney a little bit. So two of them.
You got to stay loyal to your Karnataka roots, though. Rahul Dravid.
Yeah, I mean, he's a true team man, right? Anything that's thrown at him, he's been able to do it. So if I can even be that and be the true team man like him, like he's been a great player for India. So definitely Rahul Dravid and Beth Mooney of late.
Your favorite non-cricket athlete of all time?
Roger Federer.
Your favorite place to eat out on tour?
We have a new favorite now in Houston called Aga's. I don't know if you've heard about it.
Oh, I'm well aware of Aga's Pakistani restaurant. Is very, very tasty.
Yes, and there's a story to it if you're interested, but definitely Agas is my new favorite.
Oh, come on, don't tease us. Once you throw out the reel, come on, you
Well,
gotta.
so we had our regionals last year in Texas, Houston, right? So we Agas and Suhani's dad, which is Rajiv, told us right from when we were going from the West, the Bay Area team, when we were going over to regionals to play against this Texas, the West versus the Southwest. He had told us from the beginning that we have to visit Agas, like we are going to go there for one dinner at least. And all of us were like, okay, if you're going to drive. And he said it was an hour drive. And we were like, we're not going to do an hour drive for dinner. And he sold it. And he said that this is going to be the best experience of your life. And we were like, okay, he's selling it so much. We went out there. And then he placed the order because he had been there. So he said, I'm going to do all the ordering. And we said, okay, just go ahead. So this is the entire team. And there is obviously vegetarians and non-vegetarians. And he goes ahead and makes the order. We have this big, huge table, and he says 15 lamb chops. Okay, so to the order. And to our knowledge, he meant 15 pieces of lamb chops. And we got 15 plates of orders of lamb chops. And imagine, and we were just like 5 or 6 non-vegetarians. And we had 15 plates of lamb chops sitting on the table, and we packed it and we ate for 2 or 3 days. Just the entire regionals, we just had lamb chops because that's how much we had leftovers, and we took it back home. The other story is we decided to just share the bill amongst everybody. So the vegetarians were also paying for the non-vegetarians. They ended up paying $50 per person. And somebody like Chetna Prasad and her family were together, and they were all vegetarians. 4 of them had to pay $200 for their vegetarian food. And that is the story for Agas. But we love the food so much that that's our new favorite. When Uzi and I were there for the Houston Open, we made it a point to visit Agas again.
It sounds like his flashback took it off your stadium. You put on your 2 kilos just from the visit to Agas before you went back to the Bay Area.
No, it was just lamb chops. It's just meat, protein. That's what I will qualify it as.
Your favorite beverage?
Don't do any sodas or anything. I haven't had in many years now, but on a rest day or right after the tournament, I do enjoy my wine. So I would say red wine.
Red wine. Do you have a specific red wine?
Malbec is my favorite, and also Shiraz sometimes. I definitely like red wine over white any day.
Do you have a particular favorite region where you get your Malbec or Shiraz? Are you a California loyalist? Do you like the Argentinian ones? South Africa? Where do you get your Malbec and your Shiraz from?
I actually am an explorer. I try everything new every time I go. I am not very loyal. In fact, if in the menu I see California, I prefer not to go for it because I want to try other regions. Argentina has been very good. I feel that Argentina wines are good. So I'm an explorer when it comes to wine. So I go for anything not non-California so far.
Your favorite pizza topping?
Jalapenos.
Your favorite movie of all time?
There are a few, but I think I'll pick Pursuit of Happiness.
Are you still a Will Smith fan after what happened at the Oscars? Because that did not look like the Pursuit of Happiness to what he did to Chris Rock. I'll tell you that much.
Correct. I do agree, but we'll let the Oscar make those comments, and we'll keep it at that.
Last but not least, your favorite show to binge watch, whether it's Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, Paramount Plus, any other streaming service, or DVD box set. What is your binge watching TV option du jour?
I have a lot. I do watch a lot of series because I'm one of those person who likes TV running when I'm working. So during my full-time job, I have the TV on all the time. But off late, I've been watching One Tree Hill. But for the 5th time, probably, I've watched Grey's Anatomy a few times. And off late, my favorite definitely is Handmaid from Hulu and This Is Us from NBC.
How many of those are options that you watch, and how many of those are options that your teenage teammates have spurred you onto?
I actually got Geets onto One Tree Hill and Gilmore Girls. She watched Gilmore Girls, One Tree Hill. I even tried getting Anika onto One Tree Hill. So I'm the one who's been giving them these teenage ones. Then don't believe that I'm the one putting them on TV. I hope the parents are not looking, listening to this.
Gilmore Girls. That was when the both of us were growing up. That was the in thing that was on.
Well, I have stories for everything. So when I first moved over to the US, and I think first few weeks, I was trying to see how do I fit into this new culture, right? Because the first thing, I'm an Indian, and I was born and brought up there, and I had not been exposed to any kind of Western life because I'd never traveled outside of. I had traveled outside of India, but not outside of Asia. So it was definitely a new beginning for me, and my husband was, and I was not even working when I first moved over because of the visa issue. So I happened to Google and just say, what is the best way to learn about USA and USA's culture? And one of the things that was put up on that is watch TV series. And it had mentioned a few of the TV series, and Gilmore Girls was one of them, One Tree Hill, and Grey's Anatomy, Scandal. So all of this was kind of saying that you'll try and understand how what is USA culture. So that was one of the way I learned about USA and their language, I should say, and teenage life, and how really everybody grows up in USA. So I should say that's why I got into all this series.
I sure hope that's not how everybody grows up in USA. I don't know. That's the most fiction of things.
Series TV is known, to exaggerate things. I'm not going to, get my son to grow up that way, but at least, it gave me a good understanding as to what US is, and the language, definitely learning the language as well. Yeah.
Today, are you more of a Rory or a Lorelai?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think I'm a more Rory.
More of a Rory.
When I probably moved over here, could have been a more Lorelai, but I think no, I'm still a Rory. I think I'm a lot more structured like her. I know what I want. I've always known what I wanted to do in life, and not as much as an adventure like her mom Lorelai. And yeah, definitely Rory.
Does Rory have a list of 22 things that she's pared down to 8 though? This is
you're going to use that throughout my interview, but yeah, that was my vulnerable moment. And I think something that I've learned in my 2020 mental training sessions is having to accept and be able to be vulnerable about yourself actually makes you more confident as a person. And I think definitely that has helped. And if somebody can pick this up in this interview and learn something out of this interview, I would say, don't be as structured as take life as easy as possible, and just go out there, see ball, hit ball. That's the kind of attitude should be when you get onto the field.